Yeah, hello everyone. Hello, and welcome again. This is our ProtaStructure series tutorial. So, in our last video, I taught you how you place your columns, place your view, to give your columns dimensions, sizes, and boosters, and your stories, and the thing that you are supposed to do. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can place your slab and assign load on your slab too, and another thing that are supposed to for maybe your analysis. So what we'll do that because we've saved your private the ProtaStructure file that we did, click on it, then you click on it to open for you. So you see a dialog box where you open project and it will start to process for you. Then you wait for it to process for you. It's coming. Okay. So this is what we modeled in the last video, and here is the 3D, right? So here is the 3D, you can see it nicely. Here is the 3D. So here we are going to place slabs, right? But there's one thing that I want to tell you. Maybe let's say this is a two-story, right? And for the first floor, maybe you're going to place a slab. But let's say for the second floor, I would say let's say the roof, you're not going to place a slab there, right? Because maybe there is a roof, you're not going to place a slab there. But in the first video, I taught you how to make all the stories similar. So that means the moment you place a slab on the story one here, it will appear on the story two. And maybe you don't want that. So what you do is that you go to building setups, then you go to your far right here where you see story operations. Click on it. Then you see operations, right? The story operations, then you click on it, you see a drop down, then you go to edit story, then you click on edit story, then you see a dialog box. So for the dialog box, you see a table. Move straight to the far end column where you see the similar stories. You see that the first row, which is for the story one, you have on that column you see two, and the story two in that column you see one. Right now, you don't want that again. So what we are going to do is that we are going to click on the two, then you will see that it will highlight as something like blue, right? Then hold your shift, then drag it down, then you go to down there, you see similar story where you see define selected stories as similar, then you go to reset, then you click on reset, right? Then you click on reset. After that, you click OK. You see that the moment you click on reset, you will see that the two and the one will be out from that column. That's the similar stories column. The one and two will be out, right? I think you cannot see because I'm using screen recorder. That's why you cannot see. But follow what I'm talking about. You see that the similar stories, the two and one will be out. That means now anything that you do in the story one will not appear in the story two, right? Yeah. Then click OK. Then you are done with that one. So that means anything that you do on the story one will not appear on the story two, because we are using the story two as, let's say, our roof, and we are using the story one this side as our first floor here, right? So let's go to the story one. Let's go and place our slabs, right? Yeah. So what you do is that you go to modeling. So what you do is that you go to modeling here, then you click on the modeling, then you come to this side, you see column, wall, beam, slab, ripped slab. We are not using the ripped slab. What we are using is the slab, right? So click on the slab. The moment you place your mouse on the slab, you see some long message like tutorial that will give to you some UC tips and watch how to insert slabs in maybe beam region, inserting slab into axis region, inserting slab by pick axis, right? Now let's click on the slab. So click on the slab. double click on the slab. I'm coming. Okay, okay. You click on the slab, then you see some dialog box at the far left here. It will appear as the same thing as the one that we did for the columns and the beam. So you see general, then you see label, and the label you see one S1. One. That means story one slab one. Then you see type, right? So the types you see some rectangular box in there with one on it. When you click on the drop down, you see different types of slab there. These are the types. When you go through the BS 8110, we have some we call um non dis non non edge, no edge continuous discontinuous edge, right? So you see that, let's take the thread. You see that we have one edge discontinuous, right, and three edge non-discontinuous, right? When you take the 4, you see that we have two edge discontinuous, then two edge non-discontinuous. What does this two edge discontinuous and what does this two non-edge discontinuous talk about? Let's say you take this one. Let's say if you place the slab here, you see that this side are closed, right? But this side is not closed. So that's what we said. So if you place the slab here, you can see that we have this side to be, let's say, three edge non-discontinuous, one edge discontinuous. I'll get it. Yeah. So that's the type of slab that we using. Then we have the H. The H is the depth that we are using. The depth of your slab, either 120, either 150, or any of them. Then you see this side. You see con.cov, that's the concrete cover that you'll be using. That's the concrete cover that you'll be using, and it's 25 here for you. Then you see label position, where you want to place it to is here. So then you have the insertion. How do you want to place it? So in the insertion, at where the insertion is, you see some region beam region. Click on the drop down, you see beam region, axis region, pick axis, pick point. So where you want to place, how you want to place it. For the beam region, that means in at where the beam is closed, right? At where the beam is closed, the moment you do that, you can see that you can place your slabs there. That's what you're going to use, the beam region. Then you see loads, and for the loads, the moment you select the slab, you see that you see self weight, and the self weight for the slab for the 120 depths, right? The self weight for the slab for the 120 depths is 2.88 kilonewton per meter square, right? So for the self weight, that's the dead load of the slab, it will calculate for you. Let's change the depth. Let's change the depth from that 120 to 150 and see what the software will calculate for us. So we've changed it from 120 to 150. For the 120, the self weight was around 2.88 kilonewton per meter square. So now we've changed it to 150. Let's see the self weight or the dead load of the slab. So you go to load. You see that when you choose 150 mm, the self weight of the slab has changed to 3.6 kilonewton per meter square, right? So any depth that you choose, the self weight will change. It won't be constant. The self weight will change. The software will use the depth to calculate the self weight for you. That's the dead load. The software will do that for you. But you are supposed to enter your this thing. Let's see. Um, you are supposed to enter your impulse load. You see that, let's select click on where you see enter, right? You see a drop down there, you click on the drop down, you see enter value, flat roof, room, terrace or balcony, lowered slab. So let's say this is bedrooms, right? Let's say this is rooms, right? Click on room. The moment you click on room, at where the dead load is, you see that the software will give you the dead load for rooms, right? Your own is to what, compute in your imposed load, right? If it is roof, you compute in your roof load, you compute in your snow load, your rain load, right? But because we said this room, you see that the moment you click on the room, the drop down and you click on the room, you see that the dead load is 2.375 for you. Let's go to, let's choose the flat roof and see the dead load. When you click on the flat load, you see that the dead load for you is 1.0 kilonewton per meter square. Let's try for the terrace and the balcony too and see. That one's to 3.175. So any of them that you select here, will give you the slab load. But maybe if you don't know, then you have to do that. Maybe if you don't know that, maybe you can't find your own here. Maybe it's a corridor that you are placing the load there, but you can't find it here. Then you have to type the load, that's the dead load for the corridor and the imposed load. But those that are here, like the rooms and the flat roof, the software will calculate it. But if they are not appear here, you have to input your dead load and your life load. And I think the code, you can find it in the BS code. I think the BS 639 or something like that. You can find where it gives you load for building structures and those that. So let's use the room here. We click the room and the dead load is 2.375 kilonewton per meter square, right? Yeah. So let's say these are rooms, right? So you go to where the imposed load is, then you type the imposed load from your software, right? From your code, the imposed load or the live load that you got from your code, or maybe you did research and got the live load maybe for a room. So let's say it's 1.5. Let's say it's 1.5, right? Okay, let's say 1.5. So after that, then you click update, then you can place your slab. So you bring it something like this side, right? Bring it something, bring it somewhere here, right? Then click on it, then it will proceed. You see, we've gotten roof, we've gotten our slab. So you see that S11. The G is equal to 150 meters. That's the depth, and this shows, let's say, two-way slab. You have one-way slab and two-way slab, right? So place another one here. Let's place another one here. Let's place another one here. This shows that it's a one-way slab, right? And this shows that it's a two-way slab. Let's place another one here. Okay. So maybe through the code, you have to know where your rooms are, where maybe your columns, your corridor are. I'll get it. You have to know all of them. So these are, let's say you are going to place your beams, your slab rather. This is how you are going to place your slab. This is how you are going to place your slab. Yeah. So any project that you do, any real project that you do, this is how you are going to place your slab. So you have to apply your load to the slab. It may be differ. Maybe this side, the whole of this side is a balcony, and you are placing the slab. You have to choose the load for the balcony and place it for this side. Then when you get to where the rooms are, then you do the same thing. Go there, then you change the load so that you can place them too. So that you won't use a load for a balcony for your bedroom, or you won't use a load for your kitchen for your bedroom. I'll get it. Yeah, you have to do that. So after that, you click escape. Then go to 3D to see. So when you go to 3D, you can see that you have placed your slabs nicely. You have placed your slabs nicely. I'll get it. Place your slabs nicely. So now that you've placed your slab and applied loads to it, the moment you place your mouse on any of the slab, you see that you see this one. I've placed my mouse on the slab 1S14. So you see that slab 1S14 story 1 type 1. That's the type of slab that I choose. Then the H is equal to 150. The angle 0 degrees, right? Then you see that G, which is the dead load, right? The dead load of this slab is 5.975. The software has calculated it for you. Then the Q, which is the live load, which is 1.5 kilonewton per meter square, right? So the software uses the dead load of the room and the self weight of the slab to get your total dead load for you. Then it uses your life load, which is the key to 1.5 kilometers. So you can see it here. The software will do that for you. Now that we are done with placing our slabs. Let's go to how we are going to do our load combination generator. How we are going to generate our loads, right, before we do the analysis. So let's go to loading here, right? So you go to loading here, then you look for load cases and combinations, right? Load cases and combinations, the loads that are coming on the building and how we are going to combine them, right? So load cases and combinations. So you click on the load cases, then you see a dialog box, and the dialog box that you see load combination editor, right? Load combination editor. Then you see p data analysis, you see tools here, right? But we are going to use the normalized one that we use. So what you do is that below the table, below the dialog box, you see add, you see delete, you see loading generator, load cases, right? So we are going to do loading generator. So click on the loading generator. Then you see another dialog box, right? So the another dialog box, you see automatic loading editor, right? You see automatic loading editor here. Then you click OK. Then you see that your load combination will open for you, right? Your load combination. So you click on the loading generator, then you see some another dialog box. Then you click OK. Then your loading could open for you, right? Let me go to I want to do something here. Let me go to the loading generator again. Okay, so you can see when you click on the loading generator where the automatic loading editor is, you can see you have define dead load cases, define live load cases, create factored G combination, okay, something like that. We have unfavorable G coefficient 1.4 because it's a BS code. That's what we are doing using unfavorable K coefficient, that's 1.6. Yeah. So yeah, define combination for roof life load. We are not doing that here. Define combination for snow load. We are not doing that. Define combination for rain load. We are not doing that here. Temperature loading. Okay, let's see temperature loading. You can add that one. Then state cases. Create